Here's the president, where he's expected to make his remarks about the FIFA World Cup drawing. Let's listen in.
Are you hoping to receive the Peace Prize?
Well, I don't like to say hope, but it would be a great honor.
What can fans expect of the World Cup here in the U.S.?
I think it's going to be fantastic. We've set every record you can set.
What are you telling people who are worried?
Johnny from Swiss TV, a word about him?
I think he has done a fantastic job.
Are you going to be meeting with the president of Mexico today and the Prime Minister of Canada as well?
I might
Will you be discussing immigration and trade with them?
Discussing.
Can we go here for you go first, please.
That is 3, 2, 1.
All right, we're watching the president, World Soccer's governing body. You just heard him ask about the FIFA Peace Prize. It's a new annual accolade given to someone who FIFA says has taken exceptional and extraordinary actions for peace, and by doing so have united people across the world. He's getting credit for some of that great work he's been doing that brought about peace. And, of course, the situation in Ukraine and Russia is the current one he's working on. We have our reporter, Bill Melugin, there, and Bill may be able to pull forth the President of the United States. Let's go back and watch. There's Bill on the right.
I think the crowd is great, and I think the building is great. We've made a lot of improvements over the last 6 months. Taking Kennedy Center was in very bad shape. Now it's getting to be really good, and in 6 months it's going to be incredible, the improvements we've made.
First time for the U.S. to host since the 90s. You ready for it?
I'm ready for it, and they're ready for it. And Johnny, who you know, has done a fantastic job with FIFA. And we're looking to have, you know, we have already set records with ticket sales. I don't think there's ever been anything like it in any sport. And so I want to congratulate you. I mean, I don't even have to wait. But major records have been set. How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
Today is not football, American football. It's soccer. It's
right,
the big event.
That's right. That's right.
Big day.
It's just a big day, and it's a great sport, and it really is coming to America. And nobody ever thought a thing like this could happen. And I'm very happy to say that we've already set the all-time record on ticket sales long before the first ball is kicked. Right?
100%.
You've had some concerns about crime in American cities, some of the cities that'll be hosting. Have they remedied that for you, or are you still considering maybe asking FIFA to move some of those cities?
No, I don't want to do that, but I will tell you, if they do have a problem, by the time we get there, we'll take care of that problem. We can solve that problem. I've proven that in D.C. and everywhere else we went, so we'll take care of that very easily. So if they have a problem, hopefully they'll let us know that, and we will solve any problem. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Melugin is
so there you
with
have
us
it, Harris.
now.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of anticipation for what today is. You got a lot of big names here, not just President Trump. You're going to have the Mexican president here as well, the Prime Minister of Canada. Both of those countries are also hosting World Cup games. But wanted to ask the president that question there because there's a handful of American cities where these games are going to be played next year, where President Trump has expressed concerns about crime. Los Angeles, Seattle, New York. He's hinted that he would perhaps maybe ask FIFA to move some of those games. But you heard him just say it right there that if there are issues, they'll get it handled. They want to keep the games where they are. A lot of other big names here today, Harris. We've seen Eli Manning, Heidi Klum, Andrea Bocelli is going to be here singing. Keep in mind, this is the first time that the U.S. is going to be hosting World Cup games since 1994. And this is going to be the biggest World Cup ever, literally. There's going to be 48 countries in this World Cup. That's expanded from 32 in recent years. So you hear the excitement from the president. You talked about the financial aspect of this. He said upwards of $30 billion could be pumped into the American economy. The FIFA president has said they've already sold 6 to 7 million tickets for the games. And we've also heard them come up with something called this FIFA Pass to bring people to America, with Marco Rubio essentially saying that if you're on the FIFA Pass, if you buy tickets for the games, if you want to come to the United States, you'll get an expedited meeting at an embassy. It's not a guarantee that you're going to get a visa, but you'll move to the front of the line. So President Trump sees this as a financial boom. He wants people to come into the country. DHS says they're ready. We've heard Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy say the FAA will be ready for all the international travel that's going to come in. This starts next year. In 2026, it's going to fall on America's 250th birthday. We know President Trump is excited about that, and he's putting a huge priority on this World Cup with his administration just to make sure the United States is ready for it. And as you can see here, he's having a great time on the red carpet, Harris.
Yes, he is, at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Look, I want to ask you, and it may seem like, you know, an aside in all of this, but with all of these leaders there, I can't imagine trade won't come up, because you're talking about a ton of cash just all around in every conversation, selling 6 to 7 million tickets already before the draw, according to FIFA.
100% trade is going to be talked about, and you can expect when he's with the Mexican president and the Canadian prime minister, maybe out of view of the cameras, they're going to have some conversations, because we know they've had those difficult trade conversations in the past. There have been some tense moments with them before, trading of different tariffs, different trade policies. But yes, they're all going to be in the same room today. Today's supposed to be more of a lighthearted event, obviously because of FIFA, but they will be talking. Obviously, when they're all in a room here together, trade is going to come up. And to your point, Harris, there is a lot of money at stake here, and all these countries want in on it. Everybody wants everything to go very smoothly.
Look, we're watching the President of the United States. On the left side of the screen is Bill Melugin, and I talk about this breaking news moment. I want to ask you about this Peace Award, because that was one of the first things. There was a small gaggle that then you got the one-on-one with the President just a few minutes ago. And one of the questions was about this first time ever from FIFA Peace Award. Did we anticipate that was coming? Has it been brought about because of the 9-country deals that he has made, forging peace in different places all over the globe?
The anticipation here is certainly that he is going to get that award. That's what all the whispering here is. That award is brand new. It's supposed to be kind of on behalf of sports fans all around the globe. Going to somebody who is promoting world peace. So we've already seen how many wars he's ended since he came into office, and he says he's trying to end the big one, as he describes it, the Russia-Ukraine war. He says he's making progress on that front. But yes, Harris, the anticipation is he also has a good relationship with the FIFA president, that he will be the recipient of that new FIFA Peace Award. Has it happened yet? No. Will it happen? We can't guarantee it, but that's the feeling.
You know, as people tune in, and some of them are just coming to us, they say that they see this breaking news. I want to reset for just a moment, because we've just gone far and wide on all these different topics, and at the heart of all of this is soccer. So talk to me about the drawing and just kind of how this goes.
Yeah, so essentially, again, this is going to be the biggest World Cup there is. 48 different teams, expanding from 32. And what's going to happen today, it's called the draw. There's a bunch of different pots that these teams are going to go into. U.S., Mexico, Canada will all be in one pot. And then they draw countries, and they're going to find out who they match up with to start those first rounds next summer in 2026. So that's why there's so much excitement. Depending on which pot you get put in and how difficult your opponents are, that immediately can kind of line you up for success or a lack of success in the tournament. So the teams, there's a massive amount of foreign press here. I mean, we can't pan the camera left or right now.
We can see it.
There's media here from all... Okay. I forgot you have the pool camera so you can see it. There's media here from all around the world. Again, this is a global tournament. Countries all around the planet play in this thing, and there's so much excitement. Obviously, soccer is so big outside of the United States, and it's gained so much popularity within the United States that for the U.S. to have an opportunity to host some of these games starting next year, again, first time since 1994, it's a huge opportunity, and President Trump wants to take that opportunity and run with it. And sounds like he's preparing everything to do so.
All right, we will cover all of this live when the president makes his remarks after the drawing. Bill Melugin, always great work. Good to see you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.